What is up, everybody? It is Zachary Reality, and welcome back to Zachary Reality. We are here with a very fun and special guest, Kim, who you may remember from Deal or No Deal Island Season 2. She is back on my podcast, Season 1.
Season
Did they have a
1?
Season 2? With Parvati.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yes, that was the one with Parvati. Season 1 was with Boston Rob and
And
me.
you, of course. No, I literally know. And we're going to be talking about Destination X today, which is fun, but we might talk a little Survivor 50, a little Traitors, just all things reality TV. Why don't you refresh everyone's memory and tell them what happened to you on Deal or No Deal Island Season 1?
Deal or No Deal Island was such an amazing experience. Season 1, I just about pooped my pants when I got to the airport and saw Rob. I was really hoping he was hosting something, but instead I had to play against him. And Rob knew I was dangerous at the beginning. I was dangerous to his game. That was the key to it. And so Rob and I really never got together. We tried a little bit, but we never ever got to align and work with each other. Instead, we were working against each other from the beginning. And ultimately, it came down to the fourth episode where either Rob was gone or I was gone. And unfortunately, Rob got the upper hand there and he eliminated me from Deal or No Deal Island. So who knows? What maybe one of these days I'm going to have my redemption arc and be able to battle back again. But
Yeah.
it was so much fun. What a great season it was. And absolutely love the entire cast, even the people that it looked like I didn't, where there may have been, a little bit here and there. A good example is Claudia. Claudia and I have mended fences, Alyssa and I have mended fences. So I absolutely love our cast, love our winner. Jordan was an amazing winner and so deserving, and in touch with all of them all the time, it seems. Yeah.
Yeah, we see a lot of these shows. I mean, even on Destination X, like there are other reality people with experience who come in, and sometimes these fans, like, we've seen them on TV. If we know their game, I think the strategy is to not call them out because they are the fan favorites. No one's going to want to take them out too soon. You have to work with them. And even though you don't want to go
Yep.
the end with them, you have to embrace working with them, even though you know their game, because if not, they're going to come for you like Rob did. And you got to just work with
Yep.
them.
Absolutely. And I think we've seen really good examples of this in Destination X. Unfortunately, in my situation, the game got exposed a little bit early. But in Destination X, Peter and Janae coming in, I think that the cast as a whole did a great job in pulling together and embracing them coming in, even though behind the scenes, they were like, yeah, no, they need to be out of here. They've already had their chance, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, I wish I had done that a little bit more with Rob, maybe not spilled as much as I knew about him. Um, I could have played dumb. I really could have, but I kind of got backed into a corner at the very beginning and had to expose it. And it is what it is. It did not make it any less of a phenomenal experience, as I'm sure it is for
Yeah.
we're going to. And these people, I think, either did a great job of playing dumb or Lily did not know anything about Janae and about Peter.
Yeah. So who is your favorite on Destination X? Do you have a favorite? Like even someone that went home already? Who do you love from this season?
You know what? I actually really liked Rachel. She was
Me
quirky
too.
and fun and you know the big bow, and I liked her story. Um, Other than her, I would say, I mean, I like Big. I think he's, kind of, it's weird, but I think the Southern accent makes people underestimate the person. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, it becomes almost a stereotype. And I think it's funny because it happens constantly. I was excited to see Josh on there. Um, I
Mm,
can't believe with all the travels he did that Josh was the first one eliminated. He was fun to watch, and I think he would have
yeah.
been really fun to keep watching, especially with the introduction of the other characters. Um, Other than that, I mean, not necessarily one of my favorites, but someone who I kind of felt like had maybe a little bit of a winner's edit from the beginning has been Rick because his game's gone up and down and up and down. So I I I didn't come into watching Destination X with any foregone conclusions on what this show's going to be like. Am I going to like it or not? I have been very pleasantly surprised and absolutely love it. It's fun.
I love it too. It's so fun to just travel the country vicariously through them and see the game of Clue and guessing it and the alliances. So there's a lot of different elements to it, and there's also the romance elephant with
Yes.
Allie and Shane. And I'm dying
Yeah.
to know what's going to happen. Like, do you think they're still together today? You do?
Um, I don't think so. I think maybe it was a bonding moment in the show when you're in
Mm,
such, they're in a lot closer quarters than Survivor, where you can wander off and be by yourself a little bit, or Big Brother, where you can go to a
yeah,
different part. No, they're in a, and
the
so
box.
I think that maybe their showmance on there, I don't think it lasts beyond there, but maybe it does. I'm hopeful for them. If it does, go them.
Well, it'll also be interesting to see if they backstab each other at the finals, like if they get there. Like,
There's only
are they
one
gonna choose
winner.
money or love? Exactly. So is she gonna backstab him? Who's gonna outsmart them? I feel like Rick is getting the ultimate winner's edit too, but I also feel like Biggie is getting a winner's edit. I don't
He
think Peter
is.
will win, but Peter is so smart. So I can see Peter getting like runner up. And I feel like Allie or Shane are gonna go next.
I I think they would be smart to get Ali or Shane out next. And when we get into this episode, especially, I think that there were some fatal flaws that happened, but
Mm,
it was a fun episode, and it was the first episode that I felt that it wasn't blatantly obvious where they were. Okay, I guessed Venice, but I lived in Italy for 3 years, so I kind of saw some of those signs. And when they showed the picture of the bridge, I was like, "Yeah, they're definitely in Venice." Gosh, I yeah, it's the first one that it just really didn't scream, "The hills are alive with the sound of music. You're in Austria. Congratulations." You know?
I thought
So
they were
that
in
was,
Slovenia. I really thought they were from the clues.
you know what though? If Janae had picked a little further up the coast, she would not have been eliminated because they're going straight lines to where people are. And she was
Hmm.
right across the water. She was just too far south, and that one hurt her. Um,
Well,
but
Janae, it was her time to go. I felt like she
yeah,
was in a really strong alliance with Rick and Peter, and they were kind of carrying her through. Like, Janae
yeah.
wasn't really contributing much other than like a smile and a positive attitude, which honestly does go a long way, but she wasn't contributing in the geographical and the challenges. So I did think it was her time to go.
Which shocked me. She's a flight attendant on top
Is
of being a
she?
lawyer. She's a lawyer and a flight attendant.
Janae?
Yes.
Huh.
So
I
I
didn't
was
know that.
shocked that, well, maybe she's domestic. I don't know. But, that's, I really thought that she would do a lot better geographically than she did. I also thought Peter, I mean, he's done pretty good. Shane shocked me with this one, though. And I don't know, maybe strategy last episode before yesterday because he brought nothing to it. Yes. How did he pick Janae and Shane for his team? Or yeah,
Well,
no.
yeah. I think he wanted to pick who was his
Or Rick.
alliance.
I'm sorry, Rick. Janae and Rick he picked for his team. That was his alliance. But knowing that if you don't win, one of you is going home, right?
Yeah.
So why didn't he bring in Allie? He could have brought in Allie on his team. And then he is looking at the potential of Shane and Allie. They didn't know where they were. They were thinking Slovenia too. So
Mm-hmm.
potentially, if he had done that, Allie could have possibly been eliminated. Nobody
Right.
picked Italy except Peter.
Yeah. You're right. I'm wondering how you think this is all going to end. Do we think they're what like could be the grand ending destination for all of this?
Um, like where they'll go.
Yeah, like where
I
do you think the final country could be?
I think the final country could possibly be Iceland. Um,
Ooh.
because they haven't gone north. And I think Iceland is a country that a lot of people are not familiar with, but yet they've got a big city. They've got Reykjavik. So they could do something like that. I could also see it maybe going up to Iceland and then coming back down and ending up in like Budapest or,
Mm,
someplace in Hungary or Poland or something like that. I could see it
yeah.
actually ending there.
What about
That would be
India?
fun. Huh?
What about India?
Um, I think that's too far. I don't think they're going to go that far over. Um,
Mm,
because it seems like they've really kept it in Europe. From Paris, I kind of thought they might go to London, and they didn't. They swung back around, and but I could see them hitting the north. I could definitely see that because they haven't touched it yet.
yeah. If they go from London to Paris, there is like an underwater bridge or something that they would maybe be able to tell. It was crazy to see them in Venice on the floating dock thing. But I also talked to Rick
Yeah.
earlier, and he was saying that they drive in circles. So you can't really tell how far you're going because you're just driving in the same country, like all over. It's
I
crazy.
am not surprised to hear that, and I can't wait to watch your interview with Rick because
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to a little bit of insight on that part of it. Because some people have a great sense of time or direction. Peter has an excellent sense of direction. So he probably feels when they're going north, when they're going up a mountain, the elevation is changing, your ears are
Mm,
popping, and I'm sure that he reads a lot into that. So it doesn't surprise me that they drive them in circles because that's not a long trip. Like when they between Switzerland and Austria, for example, that's not a real long drive. So yeah, I can't wait to watch that now. Everybody
yeah.
needs to be sure and tune in. You want the behind the scenes? That's one piece of it.
Yeah, Rick was giving some real behind the scenes in my interview with him. I chatted with him today because usually I chat with the eliminated contestant, but Janae is busy promoting Beyond the Villa, which is her new spin-off show that's coming out on Sunday with Love Island. So do you watch any Love Islands?
You know what? I read about it. I watch like your podcast about it, things like that. But I don't really watch the romance shows, um,
Mm,
except Bachelor. I do like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. Um,
mm-hmm,
but the other ones, I don't know. It just gets to be almost like forced drama, I feel like, where with the competitive shows, it becomes um, real drama based on gameplay. And
and money.
but I love keeping up with it. And then if there's something that sparks, then I'll jump in and watch it because I'm a sucker for all things reality. I just am. I love reality shows as opposed to scripted.
Me too. I love reality. And one of the reality shows I love is Traitors. And they did
Oh my
drop the
gosh.
season 4 cast. And I was wondering
Yes.
if you had any hot takes or favorites on this list.
You know what? I want to see Rob Cisternino do well. I really do because just because he's Rob. I loved him on Survivor Amazon. Um, I loved him in
Do you
All
think he'll
Stars.
be a target though? Like because of his podcast and how popular his podcast is, do you think he'll be a target for that?
I don't think he'll be a target for that. I think there's better reasons for him to be a target than his podcast. Now, the question is how many of the people that are on there ever saw Rob play in the Amazon where
Very
he
few.
exactly. So they don't know what Rob brings to the table other than a charming personality. They'll get what they see there, right? Talking to
Mm.
people does not make you a great player. Having done it is what can make you deadly in a game like this. So he's one of my, I'm looking forward to Lisa Renna drama. I
Mhm.
think that she is just going to be a hot mess in the castle. Um, the other big one that I'm really kind of looking forward to seeing what they do. Oh, and I want oh, what's her name?
Donna?
Deandra?
Oh, Dorinda.
Dorinda. I want to see her because I she was out early and I think that she would have brought a lot of interesting things into the castle as far as not just drama, but gameplay. Because, and now that she's watched last season and played at the beginning, she could be kind of deadly in that castle. We'll see. Because
She just
she's
needs
non
to remain
threatening.
quiet. She's so
Yeah.
loud, and I think the key to Traitors is to staying silent for as long as possible.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. Sandra did really well, and Sandra was not silent at all in Traders. Um, I don't know because there's other loud people, and
Mhm.
I just hope that like the Real Housewives don't all stick together as a clique because I think that there's a few of them that could be really good players as long as they're not having to protect others, which puts a target on you, you know. And
Mhm.
I don't see Rob or Yam Yam going in and saying, "Yeah, let's leave them all together." Yeah, that'll work. No, I don't think so. Um, the other one, I want to see what Donna Kelsey brings
Oh,
because
yeah.
she's basically the only one in there that has no television experience other than mom watching her boys play football.
Mhm.
Um, I don't think Tara Lipinski and
The
I
ice
went blank.
skaters?
Yes, the ice skaters, the Olympians. I think they're there to promote the Olympics coming up in February. Um,
Uh,
I
that
don't.
makes sense because it's gonna be on Peacock.
It's on Peacock, exactly. The Olympics are on
Mm.
Peacock, NBC on Peacock, and everything else that NBC has. Um, so by the time this airs, it's really leading right into the Winter Olympics.
They're so
So
they know exactly who they're promoting.
yes, exactly. Now,
Mhm.
I don't think Tara's going to do good, but I think Johnny Ware could do good. I think he could do pretty decent in here. And my foreshadowing is he's going to catch the reality TV bug.
Mm.
I think
And
we
then
will see him on something else after this.
okay.
So it'll be fun. I can't
I can't
wait.
wait. I know, and it's crazy how they film it so many months in advance and keep it a secret. And with Traitors, we really don't get any spoilers. I'm not looking for any, but with Survivor 50, they did kind of leak the tribes. that kind of pisses me off. I didn't want to see it, but I had to look. How did
Yeah.
you feel about it?
Um, I wish they had. I wish that the tribes themselves were more even with old school, new school, because only one of them really is evenly split. The other ones are leaning one way or the other. Um, yeah, I'm old school Survivor. There are individuals that I like that are new school, but as a whole, I think that old school's gonna mop in this one. They're gonna be sweeping the floor and mopping it up afterwards, um, just because it's a different type of strategy. I think we're gonna see some new school people cry, and I'm okay with that. I
Hmm.
think that that's going to be an introduction to this is how it used to be played. And when you go back and look at some of the old seasons, like when was it? Last weekend, actually, I rewatched Kegayon, and
Oh.
it's like, okay, these people were ruthless, and they've all grown, they've all matured, things like that over the years. But I think Jenna is going to come in and wow, her claws are going to be out. I don't see her sitting back and being passive at all. Um, and that's going back to season one. These people, I look at Stephanie, and oh my God, the amount of work she put in preparation to hopefully be cast, you know. Um, I think that she is going to be a force in there, mainly because she's got children that are old enough that she can relate to that mentality, and maybe soften some of the blows, so to speak.
Mm.
But we know how Stephanie can play. We've seen it twice, three times.
I
Stephanie's
know.
Stephanie, I she was one of my favorites back when she played, and she's one of my favorites coming into 50 to potentially win. And
Okay.
um, and politics aside, okay, and I know there's so much controversy over the political pieces of people. I separate that. Okay. There are people that I would not be friends with probably in real life because we don't have things in common like that. But from a game perspective, I admire what they can do.
Hmm.
And she's one that I don't know. I just have the feeling that she's going to be able to relate to new school as well as keeping kind of those old school ties in there. She's going to be
Okay.
fun, I think. Um,
I'm worried about it because I feel like there's really only like 6 people from seasons 1 through 20. And then there's like 12 people, from seasons 40 to 50. So
yeah,
I hope that the new school people don't take over because that's how it felt like on Winners at War. Like the new school
agree.
people kind of took over. And I wish that they casted way more people from the early days and way more people from the 20s and the teens. So, because I stopped watching Survivor around the 30s. So I don't really
In the
know
30s.
anyone from the 40s, but I'm excited to see Tiffany and Dee because I saw they were spotted at the airport together and they kind of look like a dynamic duo that went to F it up. So I think it'll be really good, but I couldn't
Yeah,
imagine keeping it a secret for so long
yeah,
because it won't air until next winter. Both of these shows, next February, next
exactly.
January.
And you know what? And Dee was really a very, very good winner. If you look at her game, she was so good. I like Tiffany. But she was a strategist and incredibly strong. I got to meet her at the 47, yeah, 47 launch. They did a launch here in Phoenix.
Mm.
It just so happened that Dee was here and Wendell was here because they were filming the home renovation show. Okay. Extreme Home Makeover, that one.
Mhm.
They were filming it here in town. So Tyson lives here. It was all people that lived here. Um, and Tyson Apostle was there and all of that. Meeting Dee, she was a lot different than what I saw on the show, which is usually the case, honestly. Um, she was very, very nice, liked her a lot. So she would be one of the new school people I'd like to see do well. Um, but I don't know. I want an old school person to win, and especially a really old school person.
Like maybe Sari.
Like I would love to see Sari do well. I would never let Sari get far because you know that socially she is going to be all over it. Um, I don't know how well she'll do, but I'm excited to watch her again. Oh my gosh, there's so many old school ones that I think have the potential. I don't know that Colby will do real well. I don't know. I I don't see it. I just don't. I'm not feeling that one. What about
I know
you?
I listened to Tina Weston on like Rob has a podcast, and she was saying that
Uh-huh.
Kobe is still watching and like has studied the new players. So she said
Mm.
that she has high hopes for him, but he could be an early target. He hasn't played in a long time. But I really wish that they would cast Russell Hantz. I feel like he
Oh
was
my
such a
gosh.
big personality on Survivor, and everyone just kind of forgot about him or refuses to acknowledge him. And I'm just like, he was TV gold. I mean, he was the biggest villain, but he was just
Yep.
gold.
For 2 seasons back to back, he brought the game for sure.
Yeah.
Um, and he would have been, I think he would have been incredible TV on there. I don't think he would have lasted long, but I think while there, he would be great television. Um, there's so many. I mean, Jerry not being was one that I was shocked by.
I
Abby
know.
Maria not being cast was a huge blow. And these are people that really, honestly, and truly wanted it. And there's something to be said for that drive, you know, as opposed to the expectation, oh, I'm going to get cast. Um, I think those are three. Davey was another one that I really thought would be cast. He played such a good game when he played.
Mhm.
Um, you know what? They could have made a Survivor 50 all of old school
Only
very
old
easily.
school.
That very easily. Kobe Archa is another one that I would have
Mm.
loved to have seen come back. He only had one shot at it, and
I
I would
know.
have
They
loved.
really fumbled with the casting. They could have done it so many different directions, and it's so
Yep,
unfortunate, but we don't
but
have a
it
choice
is
but
what
to
it is.
embrace it.
And I really, really am looking forward to it. But I'm going to be rooting old school. For the most
Me
part, I
too.
will be rooting old school, and I cannot wait to see what they bring to the game. I think
Mm,
it's going to be exciting to see
me too.
25 years, 50 seasons of one reality show. Zachary,
It's
I
crazy.
don't I don't see it happening again, other than Big Brother, who's also been on 25 years, just that they only
Mhm.
do one season per year.
Yeah.
Um, And ultimately, I hope that eventually with Big Brother, if they do another All Stars or returning players, I want to see them acknowledge BBOTT. Okay. Because Morgan and Alex and all of them on there, all of them were, that was such an awesome season. I loved
Mhm.
that season. And
Yeah.
most people didn't get to experience it because it was
Mhm.
only online. But, seeing them in the diary room, seeing them do competitions. So if they're going to do a throwback, I really, really hope that they include BBOTT because that was an amazing season.
Right. Before I let you go, because we're going to wrap up soon, do we have any info on Deal or No Deal Island season 3? Do we know if they're casting, filming?
They are, from what I understand, they are not casting yet. They
Mm,
have not started filming. Um, they have not gotten the green light yet, but they also have not been canceled. So, looking at the television world, there's something holding up that renewal. Whether it could be budget, you know, which seems to be a deciding factor on so much anymore. Um, I think that if they weren't close, it would be canceled already. I think we're going to see a season 3. I think we're going to see Joe Manganiello in there as our host again.
mhm,
Um, their ratings were right there. I don't think David broke the bank. I think there's going to be plenty left for a season 3 to make it happen. Um, and I'm excited for it. I'm very confident it's going to happen. It's just a
mhm.
matter of when we're going to get the announcement of it.
And do you think we'll have a Destination X season 2?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan, he hasn't hosted before,
Mhm,
and I think he has done so well as the host. He's just oh, isn't he cute from behind even? He is just
yes.
he is just snarky enough. He's kind of the villain host a little bit, where Probst
Mhm,
has become the nice guy, everything's good. No, Jeffrey's okay with stirring the pot a little bit in there. And I have honestly enjoyed him so much hosting this. I think there's going to be a season 2. I don't know that it will be in Europe again. If I were to speculate, I'm
mm.
going to say South America or Central America. Just
Oh.
just because with the premise of what they have and being on the bus as opposed to flying places, you got to have a more compact area. They could potentially do Southern Asia, um,
Mhm,
you know, getting into Korea and Malaysia, possibly Hong Kong,
mm,
Philippines, Japan. They've got a lot of destinations that they could do there. Singapore, they could go to Thailand. They've got a lot of places they could do there. Central America, I think, would actually probably be a feasible location because of budget, very inexpensive to film down there. And you've got a whole string of countries. I mean, you could even start off in Cuba and the Dominican Republic and then zip on over to Panama and come up through Costa Rica and everything there and land in Mexico.
mhm,
Definitely a possibility of it. Belize is that big. I think people would have a tough time narrowing it down to Belize. Um,
mhm.
so I think there's definitely possibilities that outside of Europe that could be really good.
Yeah, well, we will see. Thank you so much
Yes.
for coming on and chatting all things reality TV with me. Everybody, go make sure to follow Kim on her Instagram at Kim Mattina. It is right there. Or if you're listening as a podcast, rate, review, subscribe, and we will chat with you guys soon. I'll see you guys
Subscribe.
later.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Zachary,
Kim.
for having me. Love
Of
you.
course. Love you too. Bye, guys.